I am here with Felicia Spencer, now the former Invicta FC Featherweight champion and debuting UFC Featherweight at UFC Rochester on May 18th. Good morning, Felicia. Thanks very much for the time today.
Good morning. Yeah, thanks for having me.
I guess technically it's good afternoon now, but I was personally at Avengers last night. I don't know if you've seen Avengers yet.
No, not yet.
Okay, no spoilers on my part then. The last time we did speak, though, it was just before your fight with Helena, actually, and at the time you weren't really thinking title shot. Then the title shot came, you won it, and here you are making your UFC debut just a couple of weeks. Did all of that kind of take you by surprise?
Well, it's all been. I've been very grateful for everything that's been happening. I feel lucky, but at the same time, it feels right. It feels like it's all a part of the grand scheme of things with taking that fight in the summer, fighting for the title, and then moving on. Although I was thinking of defending my title first, that the UFC call definitely was more of a surprise than anything else.
How did that call come about, and what went down exactly?
I owe it all to Shannon. She asked, we were initially talking about dates and things for defending, and one thing led to another, and she gave me the blessing to head on over to the UFC. So it was really all, I think it's all from her phone calls and her support. So I definitely owe it all to Invicta.
Which is absolutely incredible, and it's something that a lot of people say about Shannon. I don't know, though, if she gets enough credit with the general public. You were a reigning champion in Invicta, and she is totally okay with saying, hey, you know what, she's ready. Let's let her go to the UFC. Let's not try to hang on and keep her for ourselves.
Yeah, that's why every interview I try to have my belt right behind me. I know it's now former, but I feel like Shannon does deserve more credit, and I'll never forget where I came from and who built me. I'm gonna strive to help build Invicta and keep supporting them. The best that I can too from my platform.
And that's awesome. You do have the belt there. Can you actually show it? Are you able to hold it up to the camera? Or
It's
that's
nice and shiny. There.
I love it. That's fantastic. So when the call did come, I mean, obviously you're fighting Megan Anderson, who is also a former Invicta featherweight champion. Was that the call? Were there any other opponents discussed?
No, nothing else was discussed, but I kind of was surprised because when I was signed, I was told that there was a handful of other featherweights being signed, so I sort of assumed I would be fighting the other entry featherweights, but at the same time, I knew Megan and I would cross paths eventually, and why not now? So it worked out great. I've been looking for the fight for a while, so
And
I'm excited.
just to touch on that, you guys actually had a face-off in the Invicta cage when she was already in the UFC and you were in Invicta. So you knew it had to happen eventually.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was good timing, and that was after my fight with Helena. Actually, it was yeah. It's really cool that we've already sort of looked at each other, and people are already interested in that fight before it was called, and now it just makes it that much sweeter when I beat her.
Now I'm going to get to the fight in a little bit, but I want to ask you first about the UFC and the experience thus far. And obviously, Invicta is a great platform, but this is obviously a much bigger pond. But like you said, there's only a few fish so far. They've signed a few other girls. Is that something you've thought about realistically here? It could be a short path to the title if you do get a win over Megan.
100%. I pretty much responded like, hey, this is a number one contender fight, I guess. I mean, who else is there? I mean, yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. If I win, when I win, it's going to be a big name, another big jump, and maybe a title in the picture with a good win. So I'm excited to see where the rest of the year takes me. It's always been an interesting ride, so we'll see what they have in mind.
Now, with that being said, would you be shocked if they didn't do the rematch between Amanda and Cyborg? For obviously Nunez is fighting home for the bantamweight belt, but I would assume maybe Cyborg and Amanda next, and then the winner of your fight potentially could get the winner of that.
Possibly. I would almost maybe she is willing to fight often enough to defend both, both belts, assuming she'll keep the belt with Holly. You know, I suppose if she loses her belt to Holly, maybe it would make a lot of sense to come back and defend her featherweight belt. Yeah, there's so many options, honestly, with that big, the big name rotation between Nunes, Cyborg, Holly. I mean, I know a lot of people want to see Zingano back in there at 45 too, to sort of redeem herself, or that situation. There's so many different things, but I know just it feels like there's going to be something big next, no matter what happens. So I don't want to wait too long between, but I'm definitely excited for whatever they have in mind.
And of course, Zingano, that was the crazy kick to the eye with Megan, where she didn't really, yeah, that was very early in the fight. So yeah, I think you're right. A lot of people would like to see her back. The other couple of names that are coming in, Bia Malecki, who was on Tough 28, and then Duda Santana are booked for the Stockholm card. Is that kind of reassuring for you? Like, hey, we are going to see some action in this division?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first heard Faye was signed, I guess I falsely heard that she was signed as a bantamweight, so that was disappointing. But then I'm pretty sure it is going to be a featherweight fight, so that's really encouraging, and hopefully there'll be others, around the time I fight or after, that they'll book and sign and start building, So yeah, it's definitely looking good for the division. The fact that they even signed me, not leaving Megan alone in here is good for the division. So I'm excited to be the face of it.
You mentioned that, and jokingly, like not just signing you and leaving Megan alone, but realistically, I mean, for a long time the division was Cyborg getting whoever wanted to come up and try, and then the Amanda fight happened, and there was Megan at home. But were you at all surprised that they didn't sign more of the Tough 28 fighters?
They signed a couple, I guess. I think there's three of them that are officially signed.
Yeah, Macy, Bia, and Leah Letson.
Oh, and Leo. Okay, I thought maybe Panini was too. Well, yeah, like a lot of people knew already that a lot of them wanted to fight at bantamweight, and I mean, I know Macy had never fought at bantamweight before. That was a bit of a surprise, of course, but it was just a whole weird situation anyway. I can see more of the Invicta featherweights coming, and honestly, it's not just Invicta. There's featherweights that are around the world that I'm searching through SureDog, like this person fought this person, and there's all these other names that I've never heard of that I click through, and I'm like, these are all featherweights with good records, that people would never even know are out there. So I know they're out there, just a matter of bringing them in.
Does it feel kind of like if they build it?
It's going to go in that direction. Oh.
I'm sorry, I think your video got a little choppy there. But does it feel like if they build it, they will come sort of situation? Like as long as the division's there and they're booking fights, you're going to see girls come in.
Yeah. The connection's a little off, but for sure, it seems like with us being signed and they're pushing it a little bit, and I feel like it's just going to snowball. I mean, there's no other option. If they wanted to let it go, it was a perfect opportunity to let the division die when Cyborg lost. And the fact that they didn't let it die means that they have hopes for something big. So they're going to push it, and I'm going to be making sure that every time I'm in is going to be exciting so that people want to see me fight. That's what it's all about.
Well, that is great news. I think a lot of us who are fans of that division, fans of MMA in general, I mean, we want to see that division develop. There are some exciting fights, some exciting fighters there as well. One of the things that I heard you say in a previous interview, I believe, is that you are looking to build the division. And I wanted to ask you to kind of expand on that because I'm curious, in this day and age where you've got all this trash talk and all these people who want to be Conor, how do you build a division at this point with the fan base?
For me, it's just about being authentic, and it's not that I don't want to shit talk. If something comes out naturally, it's great. I do feel like I can be wearing the UFC world title belt right next to my Invicta belt here, and it's partly about helping build each other up, but at the same time making people want to just see me. It is about me, but it's also about the division, and I think it goes hand in hand. Like if I put on a performance that shows my skill set, it legitimizes everyone else that I'm fighting too. If it's an exciting fight, people will understand that there's exciting fighters in my division, and that me winning will help everyone at the same time. It's weird, but I feel like there's pressure on the few featherweights that are there that want to fight at featherweight only, that we do well. And yeah, we'll see what the perception is after.
Well, looking forward to it. Obviously, again, UFC Rochester, and I know you're training at Jungle MMA. I'm just curious, who are you training with for this fight coming up?
My team at the gym at the Jungle has been amazing. I've brought in people that I know. It's worked for me for so long, and I feel like I have a camp that really works around me really well. We're a team. There's other pro fighters on my team. There's other, women, men, pro fighters, AMI fighters, people who don't fight. Just such a mixture of skill sets that are there. People who specialize in everything, different heights and everything. So I'm just pretty much sticking with the Jungle. And part of it, I would like to maybe cross train or do a little bit of different things here and there, but with also working full time and just trying to balance everything in my life. The Jungle really has everything that I need. So I'm really happy, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. Just staying where I'm at.
In terms of Megan, you're going to be giving up, I imagine, a fair bit of height. Is it difficult to find someone to train with who can kind of emulate that? You just got to find someone tall, really, or does it really matter?
To a point it matters, but like I said, there's tall people at my gym. It's not like she's some exceptionally tall person that she's 6 foot tall. There's a lot of people at the gym that are 6 foot tall. It's not a huge difference. I know there's always some talk about, the height difference, this and that, but you look at every fight card I've been paying attention, especially in the last couple months. Every UFC fight card has at least 1 or 2 fights where there's at least a 6-inch difference between the fighters. It's so common that it's funny that it's talked about more with the women or me or her. I'm not sure, because she's a little above average with height, but it's really common in all the men's divisions too. I think this past weekend there was like an 8-inch difference or 7-inch difference, which is, it doesn't always mean that the tall person wins.
And you're right, it is probably because it is more common for the men. We don't think about it, or we only seem to think about it when it's John Jones, maybe, because we constantly talk about that. But then with the women, you don't see as many 6 foot tall females, so when we kind of focus on it, I think you might have hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
So coming into Rochester, I'm curious, you're still a few weeks out. What has the experience dealing with the UFC so far been like? Have you had to go get fitted for your Reebok gear and everything else yet, or is that still to come?
Still to come. It's been very different, but everyone I've worked with has been pretty, easy going or, helpful. It's weird that there's so many different, there's one person that communicates with me about Reebok sizing, and one person that communicates about medicals, and different person for travel. Whereas at Invicta, I had my go-to person, and they got everything for me. It's definitely been a little more expensive, with paperwork and this and that. But I'm looking forward to fight week. It's still kind of an unknown as far as like what it's going to be like there during fight week. Invicta I feel like I have a good background with having dealt with media day and medicals there and everything that comes along with it. I'm excited to try on the Reebok. I asked if they could send it to me early so I could feel it out and promote it, but they said I'd pick it up by a week, so I gotta wait. I'm excited to see how it all goes.
And it's definitely a bigger beast, so yeah, I'm not overly surprised that there's one person for everything, but I can imagine it does get a little complicated when you're still trying to train and everything.
Yeah, it's just me staying on top of everything, so, I'm just trying to keep it all together. But it's fun, being extra busy is better than being bored, so I'm taking it.
Very true. Now, coming into this, obviously, like you said, you have a good background with Invicta. You've been in big fights. You've been in a title fight. This is your UFC debut, and everyone from the broadcasters, from the fans, from the media likes to make a big deal about the whole octagon jitters thing, your debut. Are you at all concerned about that, or is this just another fight for you?
It's something that's in situation. Like probably during the first couple weeks, I was a little anxious about the whole situation. But honestly, I don't think I've ever been this just at ease with going into a fight in a couple weeks. There's always that sort of roller coaster that you go through with excitement and healthy nerves, and it's there. But man, I really just feel like I can step up into the octagon and really just be myself. And I don't think I've even felt like that with the last few Invicta fights, where I just felt I could be myself and just have fun. The last few fights have been a little tight, a little out of my head. So I'm excited to just be myself in there. And man, I think there'll be a whole new phenom that comes out.
Well, definitely looking forward to seeing that. I'm going to ask you for a prediction if you got one.
Oh, it's gonna be a finish. How could it not be? I see first round finish all day. Like I said, I always say I'm not gonna rush anything, but I just don't see our skill sets leading out of the first round and without me getting my hand raised. So.
All right. Well, I'm super, again, looking forward to it. UFC Rochester, May 18th at the Blue Cross Arena, if I've remembered all that correctly. And that's going to be a good one. So, Felicia, again, thank you so much for being here today. Where can people find you on social media?
They can find me on Instagram, Twitter at Phenom479. And yeah, I appreciate all the fans, everyone interested, everyone that's not interested. Still pay attention. I'll get your attention someday.
Catch their interest.
Yeah, for your time.
All right, Felicia, thanks so much again. And thanks very much for the time. Looking forward to it. And I will be in Rochester as well, so hope to see you there.
Awesome. Sounds good. See you there.
Thanks very much.